What if H.G. Wells' classic novel, The Time Machine, wasn't just science fiction? What if it was actually a prophecy? Today, we're going to look at this incredible story through a modern lens, as a powerful and frankly urgent warning about our planet's climate future.
Our story doesn't start in some dusty old book. It starts right here, right now, with a hard number, 42 gigatons. That is the staggering amount of carbon dioxide that we humans are pumping into our atmosphere every single year, a number that really sets the stage for the whole journey we're about to take.
And all those emissions, well, they have a very real, very direct consequence. Right now, our planet's average temperature has already climbed 1.5 degrees Celsius. And this isn't some far-off threat we're talking about. This is our reality today. That's why polar ice is melting and our sea levels are rising.
Okay, so this is where our protagonist comes in, a scientist named George. He sees all the data, he completely gets the science, but he lives in a world of total skepticism. I mean, he's surrounded by people who just don't believe what's happening right in front of them. And that is his biggest challenge.
So, what do you do? What do you do when all the charts and data just aren't enough to convince people? Well, George decides he's not just going to tell them about the future anymore. He's going to go see it for himself, to bring back the one piece of evidence that nobody can argue with. So, let's set the scene. Our story begins in a world of disbelief. George, our scientist, he's got all the facts on his side, but he's just hitting a wall of skepticism. He realizes that to really change minds, he needs something more than just graphs. He needs a story they can't ignore.
And that's really what's driving him. This isn't some grand adventure for him. It's a desperate search for undeniable truth. So he decides to use his greatest invention, his time machine, not for fame or money, but to bring back proof from the one place no one can dispute, the future.
So with his purpose set, George gets ready to take a leap into tomorrow. He's about to do something no one in human history has ever done before, leave his entire world behind, all in the hope of saving it.
And this is it, the moment of truth. He fires up his machine, and suddenly he's rocketing through years, decades, centuries. He's about to be the very first person to witness the long-term consequences of our actions. So, what kind of world is waiting for him on the other side?
Well, he arrives. But the world he finds, it is not the shiny, technological utopia that you might imagine. No, it's a shocking, transformed planet, a true hothouse Earth. And the cost of inaction is immediately and devastatingly obvious.
The scale of the change is just jaw-dropping. Think about it. George left a world that was 1.5 degrees warmer than it used to be. He arrives in a future that's a full 5 degrees warmer. That difference, that's not just a number. It's a completely different world, a catastrophic shift in the entire planet's climate.
And that massive temperature jump, it has a very, very visible impact. 240 feet. That's how much the sea level has risen. George is looking out at a coastline he doesn't even recognize, where the tips of old skyscrapers are just barely poking out from under the waves. The devastation is just everywhere he looks. This is a world where entire ecosystems have just collapsed. That familiar sound of birds and insects he's used to, it's gone, replaced by this eerie silence. Countless species that George knew from his time have simply vanished from the Earth forever.
But somehow, life continues. Sort of. On the surface, George meets the Eloi. They're these gentle, almost childlike people, just living day to day among the ruins of the old world. His guide, a young woman named Weena. She's kind, but she has zero concept of history, no idea why her planet is the way it is.
But there's something else going on in this quiet, ruined world. A constant, low-humming sound coming from beneath the ground. The unmistakable sound of machinery. It's a total mystery in a world that seems to have forgotten technology. George knows he has to find out what it is.
So he and Weena travel towards the equator, drawn by this strange industrial noise. I mean, what could possibly still be running in a world that's so completely fallen apart? And who is running these machines? And why?
Deep underground, George finds his answer. And it is chilling. He discovers the Morlocks, a different branch of humanity that's adapted to live in the scorching heat below ground. And the most terrifying part? They're the ones running the machines. They are still burning fossil fuels, making the very catastrophe that destroyed the world even worse. And they seem completely indifferent to the consequences.
And this is the world the Morlocks have made.
The surface of the planet near the equator is now so incredibly hot and humid that it's literally uninhabitable for people like the Eloi. It's a dead zone and is being actively maintained by the Morlocks' relentless underground industry.
After this horrifying discovery, George's mission becomes crystal clear. He hasn't just found proof of climate change, he's seen a vision of humanity splintered and broken, literally perpetuating its own destruction. He knows he has to get this warning back to his own time.
George, he begs his new friend Weena to come back with him, to escape her dying world and see the green earth that he remembers. But she refuses. This ruined, broken future is the only home she's ever known, and she just can't imagine leaving it behind.
So he has to go back alone. He steps back into the machine, his heart just heavy with everything he's seen and with the friend he has to leave behind. As he hurtles back through the centuries, you can just feel him carrying the entire weight of the future on his shoulders.
You know, in classic hero stories, the hero often returns with an elixir, some kind of gift or magical cure to save his people. Well, George's elixir isn't a magic potion. It's a warning. It's a first-hand, eyewitness account of our potential future, a desperate plea to change course before the world he saw becomes our own.
And so that brings us back to here, to our time. George came back with an unbelievable story for a world full of skeptics. And his journey poses a question that's not just for his friends and neighbors, but for every single one of us. He's seen the future. He brought back the warning. The only question left is, will we listen?